This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. The following program has been rated G and is suitable for all audiences. With us on this episode of The Havery Show, we have my friend George Janvier. It would be tempting just to say George is a missionary, but that is not even close to being adequate enough to describe this guy. I've known him for years, but didn't really know much about you until you gave a presentation at the church on a Thanksgiving banquet thing, and you gave your whole story.
Yep.
I was blown away. So let's start with little George. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about where you grew up, your parents, your siblings. Tell me about whatever you want to get started.
Well, thank you, Harry, and it's good to be with you.
It's good to have you.
Thanks a lot. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, 4 miles from Joe Biden's house.
No kidding.
Yep.
4 miles.
Yeah. Then he found some money somewhere, and he moved to a ritzier area. So even when I go to visit my friends there in Delaware, I'm still only 10 miles from Joe Biden's house.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Have you ever crossed paths with this guy?
No, security is too tight.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm quite sure. Yeah.
In fact, my friends that live in the area, they tell me that they're really discouraged when he came because it means they had to shut down all the businesses.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet.
For security purposes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wonder if he goes back there often.
I think he lives there.
He still has a house there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Wow. 4 miles from Joe Biden's house. What other Wilmington? What are some other claims to fame for Wilmington, Delaware?
George Thurgood and the Destroyers.
The Delaware Destroyers.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Bad to the Bone.
Yeah.
That was a great band.
Yeah.
I still get people asking me to play George Thorogood songs, and just a guy with an acoustic guitar, they don't translate very well. But I'm going to have to do it because I'm getting more and more people that are asking for that.
Yep.
Yeah, what a great guitar player.
Yep.
And you talk about just raw, plain, good old stripped down rock and roll.
Right.
That is the Destroyers right
Right.
there. Did you ever get to see them?
Yes, we did, because his saxophone player was our former lead singer.
Wait a minute. You had a band.
I had a band at the University of Delaware.
And their saxophone player was your lead singer?
Our lead singer, Hank Carter, became George Thurgood's saxophone player.
You got to be kidding me.
Yep. So Hank got us free tickets.
I'll be darned. Is Hank still around?
He died last year.
He died. Did you get to keep up with him throughout the years?
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about your band.
The band was, we were a classic garage band.
Yeah.
We started with 4 guys, and then the Army kept picking our guys out. We lost our drummer to the draft.
Yeah.
Hank Carter, the saxophone player that went to be with George Thurgood.
Yeah.
He had to join the reserves.
Wow.
And I got drafted. Or I was about to get drafted, so I joined the Navy. So we were, but we played. We did a cover.
What was the name of your band?
The Gaff Brothers.
Gaff?
Gaff. Gaff Brothers.
Gaff Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The Gaff Bro. Okay. Are there actual Gaffs? Were they actually brothers, or
No.
did?
That was just we became brothers.
That's awesome. And you played music of the time, so I'm guessing
Yes.
this would be in the '60s.
Yep. We did Iron Butterfly and
Yeah.
just other classic
Oh yeah.
rock bands.
Yeah. Fantastic. And where did you just play local dance here?
We played at the University of Delaware. There were 15,000 students at the University of Delaware at that time. There were 3 rock bands on campus, and we were one of those 3 rock bands.
I'll be darned.
So we always vied to be number 1.
Oh yeah.
So we were probably the loudest.
Oh yeah.
We were probably the loudest.
So now I'm going to get a little bit geeky. I'm going to pull this back a pinch. I'm going to get a little geeky. So what do you remember about like your equipment and your gear and your PA? What kind of stuff were you guys using and playing through back then?
We had a basic PA system, and we made our own speakers. We made our own, like the lead guitar player, he played a Gibson, the stereo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so we had 2 gigantic amplifiers on the stage. And I had a bass, and we bought 15-inch speakers and built our own cabinets.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you were they 2-way, were they 3-way, or were they just one-way, one big speaker?
Yep.
That's how it was back then.
Yep.
Yeah. You built your own.
Yep.
where did you get the components? Where did you get the speakers from? Or just the music stores or something?
You could order speakers.
Yeah, and you built your own cabinets.
And we just got wood and made our own
I
cabinets.
bet they were hefty too.
They sure were.
I bet they were.
They really packed a punch.
Yeah, and you had outboard amplifiers at that point. So do you recall what kind they were?
I don't remember what kind they were.
That kind of stuff fascinates me.
Yeah.
I think about concerts today. Literally the PA system that I have in my trailer right now that we use for California Toe Jam would have blown away anything that the Beatles were using.
Yep.
I mean, just destroyed it.
Yep.
And it amazes me that these bands in the 50s and the 60s and prior were able to put on these shows that were absolutely astonishingly incredible with crap PA systems. Absolute crap. And we're talking about the best names in the business. PA literally means public address. And it was, it was horns in stadiums and buildings that had no business having any kind of low or even mid-range sound coming through them. They were only good for public address and speaking. And to have bands have to come in and play through those things, I can't imagine how hard it must have been.
It'd be hard for a band today to produce a basic sound because it costs them a fortune to buy a PA system and bass guitar system.
Oh man, I'll just say it outright. The bands today, they wouldn't function back then because we've gotten too soft and we're sissies. When Toe Jam does a show, we have the PA system. It's wireless to a pad, and you can mix from an iPad, and we have in-ear monitors, and everybody gets to set their own level and hear and we're sissies. We've become sissies. You guys were the real deal. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Yeah, you probably didn't have floor monitors coming back at you. You had to
didn't.
sit them so you could hear them, but not so they'd feed back on you.
Right.
You had to get just the perfect placement. The drummer probably didn't have a prayer of hearing what was going on through the speakers. He just had to play from instinct, I guess. So tell me more about the band. How long did you get to play before you all had to go and serve?
We were together. Actually, 3 of us were together in high school,
Okay.
and 3 of us went to the University of Delaware. And so we were together for a couple of years.
Okay. Where did you get your first start, your first instrument? What was your first introduction to music?
Mr. McVickers. He was a guitar teacher.
Mr. Big Vickers?
Mr. McVickers.
Mick Vickers. Mr. McVickers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
In the 60s, everybody wanted to play the guitar and be a rock star.
Sure.
Whenever we would go, our first band was in the 9th grade. And we had just two little amplifiers and 2 guitars and a drummer with a kick and the cymbal.
Yeah.
And it was a classic garage band.
Oh, for sure. So, would it be wrong for me to assume that you got excited about this kind of stuff around the time the Beatles showed up?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Was it the Ed Sullivan Show? Is that what did you? Like everybody else?
Probably, yeah. I don't remember exactly, but
Did you get to see the Ed Sullivan Show when it happened?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I was watching a clip yesterday, and they had the whole Beatles segment, and I've seen it before, but it's always fascinating to me.
At the University of Delaware, we were real popular. We got gig after gig after gig. And one day I woke up and I realized this is not what life is all about.
Just like that.
Yep.
Okay, so you had an epiphany,
Yes.
and you're at the University of Delaware. You're one of 3 very popular bands vying for most popular.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you're getting a good following. Clearly, people are enjoying your music. And most people would say they are living the life. But you woke up one day and said, there's got to be more.
That's right. This is not it. There's an emptiness in everybody
Yeah.
that's only fulfilled by God.
Yeah.
And so at the height of our rock stardom, we were a big fish in a small pond.
I gotcha.
And in our height, I just realized one day, this is not it. But I didn't know what it was.
So you got this nudging, this discomfort,
Yes.
and that set you off on a journey.
Yeah. And then when the band broke up because of the draft and the Army, it was like my world collapsed.
Yeah. Yeah, all those accolades and all of that meaning and all of that purpose all of a sudden is not there anymore.
Yep.
And what do you use to fill that?
And I really wanted us to be the best rock group we could be.
Yeah, of course.
But the guys were, they were into drugs and drinking, and the music wasn't a top priority to them like it was with me.
Gotcha. So something was tugging at you, but you didn't know what.
Exactly.
So what happened? Where did you go to look for that tugging?
I didn't know. I just had to keep living my life.
Okay. And it kept tugging at you. So what's next? You're in the service. You're in the Navy? Tell me about that.
I joined the Navy so I wouldn't have to go to Vietnam.
Yep.
And the Navy trained me and sent me to Vietnam.
How ironic.
So I went through boot camp, and then I went to electricity and electronics school. And then they sent me to Key West, Florida for sonar school. Sonar is anti-submarine warfare. So I spent a couple of months in Key West going, and I graduated number 2 in my class.
Okay.
So number 1 and number 2 got to choose where they wanted to go.
Yeah.
It's called a dream list, I think. So of all places I wanted to go to San Francisco because it was the summer of love was 67.
Sure.
And here it is, 1970, and I had a chance to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Paid by the Navy. So
Yeah.
so I got orders one day to report to the USS Long Beach. It was a heavy cruiser, nuclear powered, and stationed in San Francisco.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. If you would like to advertise or sponsor an episode of The Havery Show, call 863-381-6831.
So I joined the ship, and my nights and weekends were rock and roll.
All right. So you got to play some more.
Yeah. No, I got to go to all the concerts.
Okay, you got to attend.
Yeah.
So you got to see San Francisco in 1970?
Yeah.
You got to see some serious bands.
Yeah, we did.
Who'd you see? Who were some of your favorites? Some of the
Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, yes. Mark Farner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
So just so many I can't.
Fleetwood Mac was a blues band at that point. They hadn't shifted over. They probably didn't have Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie
right.
Nicks yet.
That's right.
This was prior to them.
It was.
Yeah, they were a strict blues band, really. And you got to see them when they were at their nucleus, at their embryonic stage.
We used to go to the Fillmore West.
Oh, the film, yeah.
So.
Wow.
Saw Creedence Clearwater there.
Oh, wow.
And just lots of different groups.
Wow. So
that was our weekends.
So how? I was 3 at that point, so I have no frame of reference other than movies. How was it for you to walk into these establishments as a serviceman with all these hippies and former hippies and all of the anti-war and all of that? How were you treated?
They weren't that crazy about us.
I'll bet.
Because and we stood out very easily because we had short hair. And we felt out of place, but we didn't care because we got to see the big bands.
That's right. Did the bands notice you guys? Did they
No.
have any comments? It's okay.
No.
All right. So we're talking about these are intimate settings for these bands.
Yeah.
They're not filling up these huge arenas yet because they're just getting started. You saw Creedence Clearwater Revival really before they hit it hard, didn't you?
They were really on the rise.
Yeah.
At that point.
Oh wow. I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of that. These are some of my favorite bands. John Fogerty was the first concert I ever went to when I was 17. And he blew me away there. And he wasn't even allowed to do any of his Creedence music because of publishing fight that he had going on with the publishers.
Yep.
So to see Creedence Clearwater Revival in their early stages in San Francisco, that's a dream. So you're in the Navy. You're stationed there in San Francisco, but you ended up in Vietnam.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
Our ship got sent to the war. We were not on the front lines. We were the front lines.
You were not on the front lines. You were the front lines.
Right.
Explain that.
My ship was a radar.
Okay.
A radar ship.
Okay.
And we were involved in the air war.
No kidding.
We had 75 radarmen, We had 25 radars going at all times. So we had three shifts every day. And you would do a 4-hour shift, and then you'd be off for 8 hours, and another 4-hour shift. We had 25 radarmen working around the clock.
On one vessel?
Yes.
And were you the only vessel that was doing that for the entire field?
Yes, we covered the whole area.
Holy moly! So where were you?
We were the northernmost ship. We were actually off the coast. I never saw South Vietnam. I only saw North Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah.
And how close were you to land? Where were you? Were you not docked? What do you call it when you're?
Yeah, we were less than 10 miles from the shore.
Oh my word!
We would see the splashes when they would shoot at us with cannons, with artillery. They would see the splashes of water, but we could stay just outside of their range.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! So, boy, that's scary stuff.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so you're dealing with missing playing music. You didn't want to go to Vietnam. You're in San Francisco, where you get to see some of the coolest bands in history, but you didn't even know it at the time.
Yep.
And suddenly you get jerked out to go to exactly where you didn't want to go, and all the while you've got something tugging at you saying something's missing, and you're dealing with that too. How did you handle that? With everything?
I didn't. I just lived every day.
You still didn't know.
Yeah.
It just was there.
That's right. I actually started a band on the ship.
Okay.
I found we had Marines on the ship.
Yep.
Because they stood guard, and he was a drummer. And I found two guys that played guitars, and there were some amplifiers that the ship had bought. So I started a ship's band.
What you brought a guitar with you?
Yeah, I had a bass guitar. I played bass guitar.
You were playing bass at that time.
Yeah.
So you started a band.
Yep.
On
the ship. Yep.
Fantastic. So and you're playing the same type of music? You're playing the
same cover songs.
Same cover songs.
We did a few anti-war songs, but we had to be careful because we had gung-ho officers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
do you remember what they were?
Yeah, the Creedence Clearwater.
Fortunate Son.
Yeah.
Fortunate Son. Yeah. Did you play? Did you know about Eve of Destruction back then? Did you play the Barry McGuire song?
Yeah, I don't think we played Barry McGuire.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were playing anti-war songs.
Yeah.
On a warship. Well, it's still a warship,
yes,
isn't it?
Sure was.
It's absolutely a warship.
Absolutely.
10 miles off the coast of North Vietnam with cannonballs landing all around you, and you see the splashes, and you're on deck playing rock and roll music in a band that you formed.
What they do, when we had to resupply, our ship would pull out past that 10-mile limit. They would pull out farther in the Gulf of Tonkin, where it was safer. And so that's when we got to play.
Wow! So you played for all the men on your vessel.
Yeah, and also the ship that was supplying us with other stuff.
Oh, this is fascinating. So the other ship so did they pull up near you? Did they get off there and onto yours? Or
it's called highlining. They pull up close to us, and then they rig lines between the two ships and transfer food and mail. Things like that.
It's almost like a zip line kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And so when they listen, they're just on deck on their vessel, and you're doing a concert on your vessel for everybody.
That's right.
This is the best thing I've ever heard. This is fantastic. So, and
I actually have it on video. I have some of it on video.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How accessible is that?
It's accessible. It's going to take me some technology though.
What format is it on? Is it reel to reel or
Super 8?
Super 8.
It was Super 8.
Is there sound on it?
No.
I can transfer that for you. I've got the equipment here to put Super 8 onto digital.
I had a guy put it on CD.
Oh, okay, so it's on CD.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to be able to show a clip of that while we're talking. That would be fantastic. Even if there's no sound, it would still be wonderful to see that. So if you can provide that to me,
okay,
I would love to be able to load that in and include it.
All right.
All right. So we are now at 1970 what?
72.
72. And you are at least 2 years into your service time.
Yeah, and so my tour of duty time ran out. So I got sent home. The ship stayed there in Vietnam, and I got sent home.
Okay.
Because my time was up.
Gotcha. And you did not want to re-enlist?
No.
Yeah, I'm assuming since you were doing anti-war songs, you weren't crazy about
That's
this whole
right.
concept of war.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Delaware, and at that point, they say join the Navy and see the world.
Yes.
And so I got bit by the world traveling,
All right.
by cultures.
Yeah.
Because we stopped in the ship. We stopped in Hawaii, spent 3 days in Hawaii. Then we went to the Philippines. Then we spent 60 days in a row on the front line, and then we went to Bangkok, Thailand for 3 days of R&R. Then we went back for another 45 days on the front line, and then we went to Hong Kong, and I was just bit by culture.
Yeah. Oh, well, my goodness. Thailand, Hong Kong, these are beautiful places.
Yep.
You don't think about the beauty because you think about the cities and all the other stuff, but my word, beautiful places and beautiful people.
Yep.
So tell me some stories or tell me some highlights about your travels there.
Well, I was in the Navy at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember in Hong Kong, I remember I was so blown away by Hong Kong. I said, I've got to get back here to see it someday.
Yeah.
And eventually I did. But that's farther down the story.
Okay.
So I got out and I moved back to Delaware. I couldn't fit in. I just didn't fit in like I fit in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just basically slept till noon and then went and played golf. I did that for several months, for 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved back to California, spent some time in California. Then I decided to go to England. So I flew to England just to check it out.
Wow. And where did you stay there for a while?
No, only a week or so.
Okay.
It was too hard traveling by myself.
Uh-huh.
So I went back to Delaware and I called my best friend Barry Wallace. And Barry was the lead guitar player.
Uh-huh.
He and I have been friends since Cub Scouts.
Oh, nice.
And so I called him. I called him on the phone one day. I said, Barry, what are you doing right now? And he said, I don't know, not too much. I said, you want to go around the world? And there was a slight pause, and he said, yes.
Just like that.
Yeah. That's exactly how it happened. I called him on the phone and asked him if he wanted to go around the world. And he said, yes. So, because he was looking for himself, he was looking for his place in life as well.
This had to be a common theme for men coming off the front lines, coming out of active duty,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what you saw and knowing what you knew,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to come back. And so many of you were greeted with a horrendous homecoming of being spat on and being ridiculed and being called baby killers and all. Did you experience that as well?
Yeah, I didn't. I got rid of all my uniforms. I got rid of my military shoes, and just tried to live every day. I didn't tell people I was a Vietnam veteran.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry and I decided to go around the world.
Where do you even begin? I guess you start wherever you're at.
Yep.
So at this point, you're back in Delaware,
Yep.
or okay,
Yeah, and we flew to England.
Delaware to England. So
Yep.
where'd you fly into?
We flew into Luxembourg
Okay.
and took a train, got over to London, and we stayed in London there for 3 weeks because we found this. It's called a ship jet. You fly to Singapore, and then you pick up a ship and you go to Perth in Western Australia. So that's what we did.
All right. So we got to stay at England for a second with me. Did you check out local music scenes there? Or are we at about 1973, 74 now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Who was the main. I saw Emerson, Lake and Palmer
Oh, nice.
in a small venue, and the Who. I couldn't get into the venue where the Who was playing, but I could stand outside and listen to them.
Yeah.
They were that loud.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. They were known for being one of the loudest rock bands ever.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun is that? So you're 3 weeks in England.
Mm-hmm. And then we flew to Singapore.
Yep. Did you stay there for a while?
No, just one day.
Mm-hmm.
And we picked up a ship that was going to Perth in Western Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And on the ship they had a talent night. So my friend Barry was there and I was there, and we decided to do this song called "Ballad of Jesse James."
Oh, wow.
And so there was a hippie traveling with his girlfriend. He had long hair, a violin. He was from Ohio, and he was a country bumpkin. And so the guy on violin, I played 6-string guitar so I could sing.
Okay.
Barry played the bass, and we did the Ballad of Jesse James, and we actually won the.
Yes, of course you did.
That's great.
Of course you did. How cool is that? And from that point on, everybody knew you as the singers, and
That's right.
actually know the ones who won the contest.
That's right. So we won a bottle of champagne.
Did you kill it that night?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that we were 7 days on the ship, and it was just your typical luxury ship, except it was all full of young people. It was all young people.
Yeah.
And so we ended up in Perth in Western Australia.
I don't know anything about Australia except Crocodile Dundee and Botany Bay and Van Diemen's Land. I don't know if Perth is anywhere near all that stuff, but so now you're in Australia, land down under.
Yeah.
What do you do in Australia?
Well, we didn't have a lot of money, so we decided we had to get a job. We thought Barry was working as a carpenter,
Okay.
but we didn't have any tools. We didn't have money to buy tools. So we thought, well, let's be painters. And so we bought some painting equipment. And Australian men, they're homeboys. They like staying home. Yeah. So we got a job out in the desert, and they build homes for people that work with the Aborigines.
Okay.
And so we got a job painting there.
So this is unheard of. No one does this stuff anymore. So you really are traveling on a shoestring budget. You show up in Australia. You don't. I can't even imagine getting in and out of these countries the way things are now with visas and passports and everything else. It must have been easier than I suppose.
Very, very easy.
So you hop off the ship in Perth with really, you don't know anybody there. It's just the two of you. You have no prospects. You don't know what you're going to do tomorrow. You decide to become painters. And all of a sudden you're off in the bush painting houses for people that work with Aborigines. You realize this is crazy stuff, right? Because this is not normal.
That's right.
This is incredible.
That's right.
All right, are you dealing with Aborigines? This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. If you would like to advertise or sponsor an episode of The Havery Show, call 863-381-6831.
We did when we moved to a place called Laverton. There was a big mineral find. The Australian desert has lots of copper, iron ore. It's a mineral-rich country. The problem is it's all out in the desert, and they needed housing for the people that were going to work in the mines. And so Australian men don't like going. I mean, what married man wants to leave his wife for 2 or 3 months?
Of course.
And go but we were single and we were free.
Yeah.
So we moved out about 5 hours out into the desert, and that's where we really made. We worked 7 days a week.
Where do you even get supplies? Where do you get paint? Where do you get brushes? Where do you get stuff? How logistically? How did you manage this?
We worked for a paint contractor.
Okay.
So he supplied everything we needed.
Gotcha.
And it turned out to be a photography-rich environment. It was the desert of Australia, rich with Aborigines, old mining towns, wild animals. And so we both got bit by the photography bug.
I'm surprised you didn't get bit by more.
Yeah, right.
There. What were your living conditions? Where were you living? Where were you staying?
They bring in these trailers. They're like dormitories.
Okay.
So we had a small little room, the two of us.
How exciting!
Yeah.
What a life! How old are you at this point?
I was 24.
Golly, you're 24 years old. You've already served in the Navy. You've already been not around, but all over the world. You've experienced things that most people would live a lifetime and not even experience. And you're in the outback. Oh, my word.
Yeah, we took Sunday afternoon off, so we would go out and photograph.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry became a photographer. And I was interested myself. I got bit by the photography bug. And so I was traveling in order to take pictures, trying to learn the trade of photography.
So you were going to be a professional photographer at that point, maybe sell your stuff to
Right.
National Geographic or Time or Life
Yep.
or whatever as a freelancer.
Yep.
Wow. And did you get some success with that?
No. because like with the music, I realized one day this isn't it.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
I made photography my God.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at life through the eye of a camera.
Yeah.
And I was studying amateur filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just at the height of my interest in photography, I realized this isn't it.
It's the U2 song, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
Absolutely.
That's
I love
what it
that
is.
song.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I can relate to that song.
Yep.
So
We finished up this. We spent 5 months at this one place called Laverton. We made thousands of dollars, so we had all the money we needed to travel now and buy photography equipment. I traveled all the way across Australia from Perth in the west to Sydney in the east, and was living there. And I decided to go to New Zealand. I heard so much about New Zealand, so I flew to New Zealand, and I was traveling through New Zealand. And I saw this great big signboard, and it said Project Deep Freeze, Project Antarctica, United States Navy. And I thought, that's for me.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. What a sheltered life I have lived. Project Deep Freeze.
Yeah,
And you saw a sign,
yeah,
and you knew, I'm going.
that's right. So I went and I talked to them, and I said, I said, I'm a photographer, and I'd like to go to Antarctica. And they said, are you crazy? I said, even VIPs can't go to Antarctica. And he said, and then they said, oh, wait a minute. He said, there's a ship in port right now. They're going to Antarctica in 3 days. Why don't you go down there and talk to them? So I went down to the port, and I went up onto the ship. I talked to the officer in charge there, and I said, I'd like to go to Antarctica with you. I want to pay for a ticket to go to Antarctica. And he said, are you crazy? And so I said, but I'm a Navy veteran, and I have a Coast Guard Z card. The Coast Guard Z card is like a union card that says that you have sea time and firefighting school. Mm-hmm. He said, oh, you have your Z card? And I said, yeah. So he took me up to the captain, and the captain said, if you jumped another ship and you're trying to get back to the U.S.? I said, no, I'm a photographer and a world traveler. And he said, we can't take you on as a passenger, but we'll take you on as a seaman.
I'll be darned.
I got paid to go to Antarctica.
Got paid to go to Antarctica. And you mentioned not even VIPs can go. There's that whole treaty where they're very, very, very tight about who can go and who can't go. Mm-hmm. So you got, not only did you get to go, but you got paid.
That's right.
To go and take pictures.
It took us 7 days to get from New Zealand, from Christchurch, New Zealand, to Scott Base, Antarctica.
Uh-huh.
And when we left New Zealand, it was a heat wave. It was in the 90s, and 7 days later we were below zero, surrounded by gigantic icebergs, and so big that we could drive the ship through the holes in the ice. So we tied up to a 25-foot thick piece of ice, and it was a heavy lift cargo ship that goes once a year to New Zealand, and then to Antarctica. Mm-hmm. And they flew people in, stevedores to fly. They flew them in to unload the ship. So we just worked a regular 8 to 5 job, just painting or keeping the ship clean.
The ship only goes in once a year.
Yes.
And to load and unload, they have to fly people in to do that.
Yes, and we had to pick up an icebreaker to get through the ice in order to tie up.
There's no frame of reference for this for the average normal human being.
Yeah, right.
You're obviously not an average normal human being.
So we spent 7 days at the ice. They call it the ice. We spent seven days in Antarctica unloading the ship and then reloading it with broken equipment and things, and core samples for universities.
Yeah.
Then we went back to New Zealand, and they asked me to stay on the ship and go back to the U.S. with them, so I did. So we went back to, we crossed the Pacific, went through Panama Canal up to New York, and I got discharged in New York. I flew down to Delaware, spent 1 week with my folks. I got on another plane and flew back to New Zealand. And from there, I flew to Australia.
Delaware, England, Singapore,
Perth,
New Zealand, Antarctica.
New Zealand.
So it's 7 days in Antarctica. Back to New Zealand. George, this is a lot to take in. This is a lot. This is a lot to take in. You're there for a week, and your folks must be just winded by all this. Where is our son now? I mean, I'm sure you're writing, but by the time you write a letter, you're already gone off to some other place. So they have no idea at any given time where you're at or where you're going, because you didn't either.
That's right.
I'll bet they were thrilled to see you, and I'll bet it was hard for them to let you go again 1 week later.
So. They were very supportive of me, though.
Yeah. I mean, they had to be so proud for you to work your way through this adventure on your own, and to make it happen on your own. That had to be very.
That was my first trip around the world.
At 24.
Yeah, from Delaware to Australia.
First trip.
New Zealand, and we came back from Antarctica to New Zealand. They asked me to stay on board, so then I crossed the Panama Canal, New York, flew down to Delaware, and then flew back to New Zealand, flew to Australia, because I was really bit by the travel bug.
Clearly.
Yeah. And one day I said, "This isn't it."
Wasn't music.
No.
It wasn't photography.
No.
It wasn't travel.
That's right. But what was it?
Still didn't know.
So I flew out to Western Australia, and I was going across the on the one road that goes through the outback, and I had car trouble, and I limped into this little town called Fitzroy Crossing. There was a pub and a hotel, and that was the town.
A pub and a hotel.
Yeah. And I went in and I talked to the guy at the pub, the guy behind the bar. And I said, I'm having car trouble. Where's the nearest gas station? And he said, "Mate, there's not a bloody petrol station for 150 kilometers. And I thought, and then he said, "Wait a minute." He said, "There's this missionary couple that live with the Aborigines. He's got tools, and he lets people use their tools sometimes." Mm-hmm. So I was able to drive my car to this Australian missionary couples. And I spent 3 days there working on my car because he had tools. I traveled with a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. And and he had all the tools I needed, so I fixed my car. And after 3 days, I was thanking him. His name was Pete and Joy Taylor. He's late now, but I still write to his wife. I was giving him some money for using his tools, and I ate a couple of meals with him. Mm-hmm. And I was just appreciating him for helping me. And it was like a lightning bolt hit him, and he said, "Have you ever read the Bible?" And I said, "No." I said, "No, it's too hard to understand." I was 25 years old, never read the Bible. Mm-hmm. And he gave me a Good News for Modern Man. He said, this is an understandable Bible. He said, whether you believe in God or not, ask God to speak to you when you read the Bible. So later that day, my car overheated. So while I was waiting for it to cool off, I thought, I wonder what it's in that Bible. So I started to read it, and I was blown away by Jesus Christ, by the Bible itself. And I kept reading it. Every day I'd read it, and I did that for 5 months. And during that 5-month period, if somebody would have said to me, "Do you believe in Jesus?" I would have said, "Sure. I read about him every day." But I wasn't born again.
Yeah.
I went to, I was living on the East Coast in Sydney, and I thought, I've heard a lot about Papua New Guinea. Mm-hmm. And so let me go in there for some photography. So I was traveling there. I flew into an area that had no roads. just a missionary couple that was there, and it was a cannibalistic area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told the missionary couple, the missionary dad there, that I wanted to go for a hike for a couple of days out into the hinterland where all the cannibals were.
Okay. Quick pause. You're not a missionary yet. You're still just taking photographs, and you want to get Papua New Guinea, and you want to be out into the jungle.
Yep.
Okay, continue.
So he said, I'm only the sixth white man ever to go into this one particular area. And somebody asked me, why didn't they eat you? And I always tell them, well, they didn't like white meat.
So you encountered natives.
Yes.
And I've always heard and understood that they didn't particularly like cameras. They thought it would steal their soul or something.
Yeah, right.
Is that correct?
These people were so primitive that they didn't really even realize what a camera was.
Okay, got it.
I got some fabulous pictures. So I flew back from Port. I spent 3 months in Papua New Guinea, and I flew back to Sydney, Australia, where I was living. And my friend Barry Wallace, that he and I started out traveling around the world together. We split up after a while, and then we get back together because we had different goals and interests. He actually married a girl from New Zealand, so he was living in Sydney, or I was living in Sydney, and he came back from photographing in Papua New Guinea, and he invited me to go to a church, to Belvoir Street Baptist Church in downtown Sydney, Australia, to see a movie on Papua New Guinea. So I thought, well, I didn't want to go to the church, but I wanted to go see the movie because I was studying amateur filmmaking. Yeah. So I got to the church, and I just walked into the church, and an older gentleman came up to me, and he said, he just came right out. He said, "What's your name?" And I said, "My name's George." And he said, "Are you a Christian?" Just like that. Well, he didn't know I'd been reading the Bible. I've been with missionaries. The missionary that was in the cannibalistic area, he gave me Hal Lindsey's book, Great
Planet Earth. Yes.
That book blew me away.
Oh yeah, as it did everybody who read it.
Yeah, and he didn't know that, and he said to me, "Do you want to become a Christian?" And much to his surprise and mine, I said yes. And so he took me into the back of the church, read a couple of verses. I think one was John chapter 1, verse 10 or verse 12. For all those who received him, to them they become the children of God. You have to receive Christ. And it's not just enough to know in your head about him, but the Bible says you have to receive him. So I prayed to receive Christ. And my life, I came away from that and I realized this is it. This is it.
That was so you would say that was the pivotal moment of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Up to that point and that point forward.
Yep. So I became a fanatic going to the church. I love the Christians. I love the Bible. I love the church. And I decided it was time to come back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So
I was either going to get on a plane and fly right to Philadelphia, or I'd go overland.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. If you would like to advertise or sponsor an episode of The Havery Show, call 863-381-6831.
And I just worked my way back from country to country. So I went back to the New Guinea, spent 3 months there with missionaries in New Guinea, and I found that my photography really paid off because they actually had a photographer to follow them around, photograph their ministry. Mm-hmm. So when they came back to the U.S., they could present it.
It's huge.
I made some amateur Super 8 movies for them that raised lots and lots of money. Mm-hmm. Then I went from there to the Philippines. I spent 2 months in the Philippines. From there to Hong Kong, 3 months in Hong Kong. And while I was living in Hong Kong, only 2 places I've ever cried after I left. Hong Kong was one of them. Mm-hmm. Israel was the other one. Mm-hmm. But in Hong Kong, I just made a big hit with the youth because of my guitar playing.
Yes.
And they thought, here's a missionary it's not an older missionary that's very staid.
Yeah.
And I could out-eat them in Chinese food. And so I was at a meeting there, and there was some missionaries there from Christian Missionary Alliance, And he said, I think you ought to go to Israel. And I said, why is that? And he said, it's the Holy Land, and you'll learn a lot there. So I thought, okay, that sounds good. I think I'll do that, because I could have gone Hong Kong to New York, or Hong Kong to Israel, New York. And so I thought, okay, so I got on a plane, flew to Israel, didn't know a soul there, but the Christian Missionary Alliance missionary in Hong Kong, he had a friend that lived in Jerusalem, and they had a big house, and they would rent out room to pilgrims. So I called them up, and they said, yeah, come on by, and we'll check you out. So I went there and met the guy, the Christian Missionary Alliance guy in Jerusalem, who had the big house. And I said, I'd like to rent a room. And he said, okay. He said, how long do you think you'll be with us? And I said, I'll probably be here about 3 weeks. 18 months later.
18 months later.
Yeah. Because Israel was just fantastic.
This is, we're at what, 76, 77?
77, 78.
Okay.
And I went to school in Jerusalem. There's a school there, an evangelical school, and they study the Bible from the point of history, geography, and archaeology. So here I am, a brand new Christian, studying, living in Israel, studying this stuff, and that was a pure, really high adventure. After being there for a year and a half, my friend John Andrews, he said, we ought to go visit some of these countries that the Apostle Paul worked in. So I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we got on a ship. We went to Greece. We spent 2 weeks in Greece, all archaeology. Then from there into Turkey, we visited the 7 churches of the Book of Revelation and other key sites. Then we went, and we had to learn the languages. We had to learn enough travelers' language. We had to learn enough travelers' Greek and Turkish, because these are off the beaten track places. And so we had to learn enough words to get around. And like where's the bus station? Where's the bathroom? Sure. Where do we get water? And so that was 2 weeks in 2 weeks in Greece, 3 weeks in Turkey. Went to Syria for a week. Went to Damascus. A great experience there in Damascus. It's one of the oldest, most continuously inhabited cities in the world. And it just had a feel to it that was different.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went down to Jordan, because we wanted to go to Petra.
Mm-hmm.
So we went down and we went into Petra. We slept overnight in the archaeology site.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Were you fairly well received on your journeys?
Yeah.
Did anyone hassle you?
Nobody bothered us at all. We stayed in a hotel one night a week. Other than that, we slept on the archaeology sites.
In a tent or just open air?
Open air.
Open air.
Yeah. And we would stay there until about 9 p.m. when it got dark and it was closing time, and we just blended into the scene and slept. We were up the next day at 6 a.m. and we were off and running. Then back to Israel. From there, I realized I didn't know how to serve the Lord with no education.
Did you still have that haven't found what I'm looking for feeling, or had you begun to find it by then?
Oh yeah, I found that was the Baptist church
when you got saved.
Sydney. Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. So Jesus was the answer for you when you got saved. That was
right.
what filled the gap for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's why the book of Ecclesiastes talks about there's an emptiness
mm-hmm.
in everybody until they're filled with God.
Mm-hmm. So you've decided you need education
mm-hmm.
to move forward.
Yeah.
And you're still, at this point, you're not affiliated with any missionary organization or anything.
No,
you're still you're a lone wolf still.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Moved back to the United States, and I checked out some Bible schools in the eastern areas, and I centered on Philadelphia College of the Bible, because they had a relationship with the school that I went to in Israel. So because I graduated from the University of Delaware, they gave me 2 years. Philadelphia College of the Bible gave me 2 years off of my program. And because I lived in Israel and went to their school in Israel, they gave me another semester. So I got a bachelor's degree in 3 semesters.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Man, just life experience alone, you should have been able to get a doctorate somewhere.
Yeah.
My word. And at this point now you're 20, you're pushing 30.
Yeah, I was 28.
Yeah.
Here's something funny. I studied in Israel very intensely for 18 months. I went to Philadelphia College of the Bible, and they give new students a Bible exam. And then when they first come to school, and then when they graduate, or before they graduate, they get another test to see how much they learned.
Mm-hmm.
I tested out higher than the average graduating senior.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So then I was with my friend Earl Hagar. We decided, we can't do much for God with a bachelor's degree. We got to get a master's degree. So we found a school called Wheaton Graduate School.
Oh yeah.
So we went there and graduated with master's degrees. Earl went into the church, and I went. I was heavily involved in my church there, but I wasn't sure that's what God wanted me, and I was single,
mm-hmm.
and it was hard to get a job as a pastor if you're single.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to my teacher one day, and I said, I love this teacher. He had spent 13 years in Nigeria, West Africa.
Yeah.
And his name was Jim. And I said, Jim, what do you think I ought to do with my life? And Jim said, I think you ought to join SIM and go to Nigeria.
Just like that.
Just like that. So I thought, okay, that sounds, I can work with that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
So I applied to SIM. They invited me to their candidate school. SIM accepted me.
SIM is Sudan Interior Missions.
Yes, correct. And I raised my support, and I flew to Nigeria, West Africa by myself. Flew to Nigeria, West Africa. I was met by the SIM people in Nigeria, and I had to go to a Hausa school. It's called Hausa language, and so I went to that school, and I spent 4.5 months there at the school. I failed the language school, but they sent me to a remote Bible school.
Mm-hmm.
It was out in the desert north, and it was a Hausa school. So I actually had to learn the language while I was in front of these people teaching them the Bible.
You're teaching them the Bible. You don't speak the language. You're learning the language as you go.
Yep. People were very gracious.
Amazing. This is the Halsa, Halsa?
That's Hausa.
Hausa. Okay.
Hausa. So I learned the language quite well. It was high adventure out there.
Oh, I can't imagine. Tell me some adventures.
I was the only white man for 100 miles.
Really?
Yep. There was a couple that lived 40 miles away from me, and they moved away. Then there was another couple that were German. He was a missionary teaching Nigerians how to make custom furniture.
Okay. All right, that's interesting.
There wasn't a North American for 100 miles.
I'll be darned. Just you.
Just me.
Is it just you and your guitar, or you and your bass? Do you have something with you? Did you carry?
I did. I had an Epiphone 12-string.
Oh, you're always carrying, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other teachers at the school, who became my best friend, he and I started a little 2-man band.
I knew it.
So we'd be invited to big programs out there, and my friend was a great preacher, and so we would go there. We would do music, and so that was good. Then
what are you playing hymns? Are you playing Inagata Vita? What are you playing when you're doing these things?
We're doing these Hausa songs.
You learned the native songs.
Yeah.
As a quick side note, what kind of music is that? Are you playing 1 or 2 chords? Are you playing what are you playing on the guitar to accompany that type of music? Or is it mostly rhythmic?
2 or 3 chords.
2 or 3 chords.
Mm-hmm.
Strong melodies. Were they westernized Hausa songs, or were they traditional?
They were local
songs.
Local songs.
Okay. Fantastic and amazing.
So I spent 2.5 years at that place, and then I came. I felt the Lord wanted me to keep going with my education, so I applied to Trinity Evangelical Divinity School,
Indiana,
in Illinois. And so I started a PhD program.
Dr. Janvier.
Yep.
Wow.
So it took me 4 years to do that degree. and I finished it up. I finished my dissertation from Nigeria, flew back. It was approved. I graduated, flew back to Nigeria, and I transferred to a seminary.
So you did this while you were on the field?
I spent a year and a half going to classes.
Going to classes
Then
at Trinity?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I had 2 independent studies that I had to finish.
Okay.
So I did those from Nigeria,
Gotcha.
and then I did my dissertation research from Nigeria.
We're talking, what, 82, 84 at this point?
You mean years?
Yeah. I know, 19...
90.
We're up to 1990.
Yep.
Okay. How did you do... There's no internet at this point. How did you do your correspondence? Just through mail?
Yeah.
Did they send you tapes, or did they...
No, I actually photocopied a lot of the materials that I needed.
Okay. That in and of itself is a project, just to get your materials back and forth.
You're right.
My word.
So I was transferred to a seminary, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. I spent 25 years teaching at a seminary.
This is your first long-term established.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the word gig, but
Yeah.
up to this point, you've been bouncing.
Yeah.
Pretty regularly bouncing, and
Right.
now all of a sudden you've landed.
Yeah.
And you're there 25 years.
Yeah.
Where is this?
In central Nigeria.
And what's the name of the place?
It's called Jos, J-O-S is the name of the town.
Jos. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. If you would like to advertise or sponsor an episode of The Havery Show, call 863-381-6831.
And so I started an outreach ministry, and they used the Jesus film.
Yeah.
I started a music band in the
Of course you did.
and I started a drama group,
Okay.
and they did outreach on the weekends. It was a way to practicalize all the head knowledge they got during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 25 years. I discipled 60 guys for a year.
So the band that you formed and the drama thing, was that for students? That was for
Yes.
Okay, and it was a way for them to use it for application.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to go out and serve using
Yes.
those gifts.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's thinking outside the box right there.
Yeah. There was a guy named Ishaya Mafutuk. That was his name. He was the drummer in their praise band, and he said he drummed for 4 years, and he said during this very last time that he was going to drum, they told him, they said, "You're the speaker tonight," and so he preached a powerful sermon, gave an invitation. People came forward, and he said, I never knew that was in me.
Wow.
And so that was the whole point of not only ministering to the people in the villages, but helping guys to discover their spiritual gifts.
Sure. And it just got thrust upon him.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing this tonight, and he was obedient, and he did it, and it turned out well for him.
Yep.
Did he go on to preach after that?
Yes.
Did he go on to pastor?
Yes.
Wow.
So that also I realized that there's not enough books. The guys, there weren't books for the courses that we were teaching, so we decided it's time to start writing books. So I started writing. So I've written 18 textbooks now.
You've written 18 textbooks.
Yeah. Actually, it's about 15 textbooks, but there's been some other extra ones. Like here, I wrote my autobiography. I published my autobiography here. Pastor Eugene and I did the history of Bible Fellowship Church.
Right. Yeah.
I just had a book come out on Amazon on prayer. Came out about 3 months ago.
I'll be darned. 18 books.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you haven't done? It's really remarkable. I'll make sure that when we get to that point about the books, I'll put the Amazon link in your name and how to find that
great,
on the
thanks.
screen, so people will be able to get those books and check them out.
That's great. So then I retired and moved to Sebring.
SIM.
Mm-hmm.
SIM Village. That's 10 years ago?
Yeah, just about, yeah, right.
About 10 years ago. Yeah. Did you do some church shopping before you found Bible Fellowship, or did you just land there because there were a lot of SIM people there?
I visited 5 churches in town,
Uh-huh.
and my neighbor across the street was going to the Bible church. So I like the Bible church for 2 reasons: the worship team and the preaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So when you came in, I was already gone, and Eugene was already gone.
Yep.
So, yeah, you came in right at the wasn't the beginning of the Todd era, because Todd and I worked together for several years after Eugene retired.
Yep.
So okay, yeah, I remember when you came in. I remember seeing you up there and thinking, "Hey, wow, they got a new guy up there. This is pretty cool. I wonder who this guy is." And just getting to chat with you here and there. And there were a couple times before Jordan came in that they brought me back in to do some music around Christmas and Easter and things like that. And I got to work with you, and I got to sub sometimes, a few times here and there. And I always really, really enjoyed you and enjoyed your demeanor and your approach to music. And I always had an ear out, because we would be getting set up, or we would be getting ready for practice. And you would run off some lick to this classic rock song. And
You're right.
All right. There's more to this guy than meets the eye. I knew it back then, just by the kind of little things that you would noodle out. Continue on. You moved here about 10 years ago.
Yeah. One day I was there's a lady in the church named Beej Reed. She talked to Susan, Pastor Todd's wife, and said George is a fantastic bass player. Well, that's not really the case, but Beej Reed, who was from Nigeria, we were together in Nigeria. She always liked my bass playing, and so she said to Susan, George is really a good bass player. So I was in the fellowship hall there, and it was in June, I think, and that's when TJ and Julie took off for the month.
That's right.
So I said to Susan, if you're looking for a bass player, I think I can do it. So she said, well, come on to the practice Thursday night or Wednesday night. And that was the rest is history.
The rest is history. TJ and Julie came back. You moved over to guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were there right up until you had your incident.
Yeah.
Can we call it what it is?
Yeah.
A stroke?
Sure. And it was a fall.
It was a fall. Okay, so it wasn't stroke related.
No.
Okay.
Fall related.
That set you back a little bit. You were in rehab for
8 or 9 months.
Yeah, 8 or 9 months. Now you're back out.
Yep.
You're
still struggling.
Still struggling, but you're out living your life again.
Yep.
And you're out from there, and you're doing fantastic.
Yep.
My word. So you've also established and have built churches in Africa.
Yes.
Tell me some about that.
The seminary students, when they graduated, they would go back to their areas, and they would say, there's Christians meeting under a tree, or a Christians meeting in somebody's home, and they need a pastor. So I would sponsor a pastor for 2 or 3 years, his salary, and
you out of your pocket,
plus other money that people gave me.
Other money, people you would raise money. Okay,
Yeah.
This is okay, like a crowdfunding thing specifically for that.
Like right now, I have 24 churches underway.
You have 24 churches that you and a group of people are financing. 24.
Yep. For example, Bible Fellowship Church took 4 of them, and they sponsor 4 of the pastors, and two of the 4 churches already became big enough to where they didn't need us anymore, so they became independent from us.
Fantastic. And isn't that kind of
That's what it's all about.
that's what it's all about?
Yep.
It's yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. So our goal isn't to just keep supporting them. Our goal is that they develop the strength of the church to where they don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
And then they shift the guy that was planning the church to another location.
24 and counting. How many do you have in your sites? Do you have some more, or do they just pop up and you pop up and you do it and you do it?
I've got 3 coordinators that I work with, and they will tell me if they have other areas where Christians are meeting and they need a pastor.
Do you have your own organization, or are you just doing this very loosely?
I do it through SIM.
Through SIM. Wow. Unbelievable. Did you do something with water too and wells or something like that? No. Okay. That must have been your legend overgrowing its pods and going into areas you did. Okay, all right. What about what's next? Are you still just going day to day, and whatever happens, you just roll with it?
Mm-hmm.
You living your life the way you've always lived it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, George.
Just waiting for the Lord to bring me things.
Liz, why? We tend to overcomplicate things, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being patient and listening and waiting.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Absolutely amazing. And you're not done yet.
No, I really thank God for every step along the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's so much I want to ask you, so much I want to talk to you about. I've got a lot of questions, but they're going to probably have to be asked off air.
Yeah.
I've got questions, I've got concerns, I've got issues that I want to run by you, but this probably isn't the time or place.
Okay.
But I really can't thank you enough for giving up your time and being on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me.
It was just wonderful, really inspiring. I personally needed this today.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're a good man.
So are you.
Thanks. I love you, man.
You too. Thanks a lot.
And just like that, we're out.
Okay.
The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.